product to buy out of all of these options. Marketing displays, bright colors, weird lighting, food label claims, nutrition facts. Food label claims and packaging are the primary way that manufacturers educate consumers about their product. But who regulates those claims? Do the current policies and regulations around food label claims protect or harm the consumer? The FDA is responsible for ensuring that all foods sold to consumers in the U.S. are safe and properly labeled. So this obviously includes food label claims. Food label claims were originally intended to inform consumers and educate them about products so that they could make the best decisions to maintain their health. But unfortunately, the policies and regulations around the use of food label claims in marketing is constantly changing and often ends up just confusing consumers with all the mixed messages, especially those without a background in nutrition and dietetics like you and I. There are 3 different categories of food label claims, and I'm sure you all are a lot more familiar with all of these than you actually think. There are health claims, nutrient content claims, and structure function claims. And all 3 of these different categories have different policies and regulations around their use, and we're just going to briefly touch over all 3. Health claims are any claim that characterize the relationship of a substance in food to a disease or health-related condition. These statements are often about disease risk reduction, such as these examples that I have listed right here. Adequate calcium throughout life as a part of a healthy diet may reduce the risk of osteoporosis. These are some more examples that you guys all probably recognize and are all over the market today. Nutrient content claims are claims that characterize the level of a nutrient in food. These are all of the claims that say reduced sodium, fat-free, or even healthy, which I think is really interesting. Because what does healthy actually mean, and how is that interpreted by consumers? Here are some popular nutrient content claims in today's market. My favorite examples here are the Pop-Tarts and the Marshmallow Pebbles. As a consumer without a background in nutrition, these breakfast foods for kids appear a lot healthier than they actually are. Structure function claims describe the role of a nutrient or ingredient intended to affect the structure or function in humans. As you can see in these examples, these claims are a little more broad and tend to focus more on the human aspect of the claim, such as help support your child's immunity and good for brain development and maintains digestive health. The policy around the use of these different food label claims is very specifically identified by the FDA. For instance, the health claims and the nutrient content claims have to be approved by the FDA before you can put that claim on your product and before you can market that claim on your product. Health claims and nutrient content claims also require scientific evidence to support the statement, and the FDA requires that evidence to be presented and reviewed. In contrast, structure function claims are not required to be authorized before using them on their product and are largely unregulated. So some additional claims that are widely used today are the use of the word natural on products, and this is one of the logos that you might see on a product that is claiming to be natural. There's no standard definition of the word natural or any kind of rules around the use of that word. The FDA considers it to mean nothing artificial or synthetic added to food that would not normally be expected to be in that food already. And the USDA defines it as ingredients that are only minimally processed. So again, a pretty broad definition that can be misleading. The National Organic Program is the federal regulatory framework governing crops and livestock, and the USDA oversees and enforces the standards that that program creates. So there are some definitions of the word organic and also some standards and policies around the use of it, but it's still pretty misleading as well. For example, some products only have a portion of their ingredients that are certified organic and still claim to be organic products. Lastly, the claim that a product is fair trade is not protected by law, and there are little regulations around the use of it. There are some standards that are created and reviewed every 5 years, which isn't very often considering how often rules and regulations are changing today. Once again, the use of this claim can be pretty misleading, isn't very regulated, and often confusing. So based off of all the information we just reviewed, what's the problem here, and why should we even care about this issue? And what does it even have to do with dietetics? The big problem here is that consumers are very unaware of the difference between the different claims. Looking at these two, such as calcium builds strong bones and adequate calcium throughout life as a part of a balanced diet, may reduce the risk of osteoporosis. Consumers are much more likely to listen to the first statement, which is a structure function claim, as we already reviewed, because it's simple, to the point, and uses language that's easy for a consumer to understand that doesn't have a background in any kind of medical field or nutrition. This is an issue because consumers trust those claims and what the manufacturers claim are in those products, which ultimately results in a confused and still uninformed consumer that could potentially be eating food and products that aren't actually good for them, that they genuinely believe and trust are good for them based off of the food label claims. And this all results in health conditions and poor health outcomes. As dietitians, we can help this problem by properly educating consumers and patients about adequate nutrition and the differences between all the different label claims. By creating awareness and educating those around us, hopefully we can empower patients and consumers to make healthy, informed decisions. Additionally, we can advocate for change in the policies and regulations around the use of food label claims in marketing to ensure more transparency, accountability, and improved health.